Hello, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today, we're going to do an unboxing and review of Muse kits. Now, a few weeks ago, Muse kits had sent me an email asking if they had sent me one of their boxes, if I would open it up, review it, and talk about it on the YouTube page. And all I had to do was just simply tag them in the video. And I said, of course. I looked on their website. I got really excited. In fact, I've already opened up this box, saw the contents, started doing the review, and I got so excited about it that the review just completely derailed and I had to start it over umpteenth times. So if I repeat myself, if I get tongue-tied, I'm just going to power through it. So sit back, I hope you enjoy, and I hope this inspires you. So, Muse kits, from what I understand, they are a subscription service where each month for about $50, I think there is a little shipping charge on top of that, they're going to send a kit, and each kit will be geared towards a different type of art or hobby, craft, etc. Initially, when I had heard from them, looking online, I saw that they had some for drawing, was 1 month. Another month was the epoxy resin jewelry. So it really spanned a whole range of art, and I had no idea what to expect. So opening this box, now you might have noticed a little pause there. I kind of wised up. I'm doing a little editing with this because like I said, I keep on filming and I keep on getting really excited every time. Opening it up, they have a pretty big social media presence. So they have Facebook, Instagram, and others. And each month, from what I understand, the kit has a prompt in and of itself. I'm going to make up one to kind of describe what seems to take place with it. If it was a drawing kit, and one of the prompts was cat, you would use the kit, draw a cat, and you would share it, hashtag it, and you would earn points. And whenever you earn the points, once you get to 500 points, you get $5 off your next Muse purchase, which is a really good deal. If you think about it, you're inspiring people to do art, you're creating said art, you're sharing it, and you're getting money off of your next order. So that's really cool right there. I know I'm always talking about art supplies, the cost and deals. That's a great incentive. That's a great way to roll that out. Now there's two things in the kit actually three things in the kit that I want to talk about that don't really have anything to do with the kit in and of itself, but I wanted to still mention it. Stickers, always cool. Candy, cool. That actually is listed in the supplies and it says why. So we'll get to that. And a fridge magnet with a calendar. I would assume to kind of keep track of how many months, how many days you got left until your next kit comes along. And that's just a cool addition because whenever you start getting business cards, other things made, you know, those things start adding up and they start costing money. So I don't know how much something like this cost them, but for them to add a magnet that has a calendar on it, that's just cool. It just shows that they care about what they're putting out there. I'm going to move these on the side and then we'll start talking about the next part. This booklet is very, very cool. I'm assuming that a booklet will come for each month. It gives the background of who they are and what they are. And then it introduces what the kit is about. So this month's Muse is Polymer Clay. And I'll read through this. Clay is something that you could turn your wildest dreams into a physical reality. Having the ability to turn something in your mind and give it a three-dimensional form is such a powerful thing. With 2D art, You have to trick people visually into what you're trying to create. With clay, you have the ability to let your viewer hold your thoughts in their hands. So that's a great way to introduce a hobby, a craft, or a type of art, to give that background and that feeling and the idea, and to really grow that inspiration there. On the next page, and we're going to come back to this one, it's going to talk about the materials, the retail cost, and other uses for the materials. So this page is super awesome. Now, here they have your step-by-step going through it, and it looks like making turning a tin essentially into a tree trunk, which is really cool. It's such a good idea, and I want to say for the end who I think it's for, like who I think these kits would be for, but I feel like almost anybody would get excited over seeing that. The prompts, like I mentioned earlier, a suggestion to create a fortress, a village, a ferry, and a stump. And if you tag them, then they have more information on how you can get those points. So we have the inspiration there, some project pointers, how to use your materials. Always good. Okay, skills challenge. So I'm not really sure what the skills challenge is, because we have the quick start to get into it. This might be just going into more detail with the creation of it. Just suggestions on how to create these designs and colors. Let's see, and there's more about the points and sharing online. So we'll go back to what I think is the most important page. So we'll go through each material that's provided and what they say, and we'll talk about the cost. The first is the polymer clay itself. So I'm assuming that they must set some sort of deal with whatever company they're getting the materials from, and they must get it in bulk and then put them into the packs. But this feels like quite a bit. Yeah, 1 pound. So we got 1 pound of polymer clay. It says it retails for about $16. I'm not familiar with polymer clay, but I have been down the aisle for it, and that does seem in the range of the prices for that. Let me know in the comments below if you know. It gives a little background. Obviously, that's what we're using for the sculpting and the creation of it, but it adds that it can be used for other purposes, such as posable figures and much, much more. In fact, at the art markets, I know a lady who likes to make jewelry out of it. So that's our first thing. Next is our metal jar with lids. Ideal for making candles, storing small objects. For this month's project, we'll use them as foundation for our sculpture and customizing them into unique and functional pieces of art. I will say this. They say about $2.92, so $3 each. You guys know that I probably drink a lot of tea. So you probably know that at this point. And tins are always useful, either for art supplies, for storing loose leaf tea, etc. And in this case, they suggest candles and other objects. So that's cool. And when you think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have at least 4 projects that we can plan on making out of the one kit. So that's something to keep in mind. We'll do a little bit of math later on. That'll be fun. I know everybody loves math. Now, I was really excited about this tool. It's a stamp for stamping texture into the clay. But they say you can also use it like a traditional stamp for ink. So when you're done with this activity, when you're done with this project, you could either obviously purchase more of these materials and continue making them, or this can carry over into another activity. So having art that materials that you can use for more than one hobby is always great. I'm starting to get excited, so got to slow myself down. Okay, that is about $4. I think that's right. Stamps. I always wanted to get into rubber stamps, but I never did. Okay. Next tool. This says it retails for $11. I would expect this to be more expensive. Stainless steel double-ended sculpting tool, gold. Use it for sculpting, carving, modeling, cutting, etc. Going into the hobby stores and seeing these, usually they're made out of plastic, and plastic breaks. So seeing it made out of quality material, that's cool. All right, feather wire texture tool. Let's see, where did that go? $3. That seems reasonable. The tool features wire bristles that allow you to make multiple fine lines with a single stroke. Okay, so essentially I had made something like this out of razor blades for dry point, where I glued them all together to create all those lines at once. Having a tool for that, definitely a lot easier. Okay. Green mixed brush set. All right. So we have a variety of brushes, $12. I think that's reasonable. You could probably get a kit of brushes like this for a little bit cheaper. So maybe this is something that might be a little cheaper in person, but I'm not sure. Anyway, the good thing about that, just like the rubber stamp, is that you can carry it on to the next art project. So, very cool. When I first saw this, I had no idea why soft pastels would be in a kit for sculpting. And for here, they say, this month you can utilize these pastels to tint the color of your clay. I would have never thought of that. That's a really cool idea. So not only do we have an art supply that we can literally just use in and of itself, carry over to the next activity, we're expanding beyond the polymer clay to colorize them. Going down the art aisles, there's different color polymer clay, I believe, but for you to use tricks like this and just work with a white polymer, that's a great idea. So just something like that, just little tips and tricks that you probably would never think of. Very cool. Last but not least, hobby knife. Retails for about $6. That seems reasonable. In fact, I would think it'd be a little bit more expensive in person. Used for cutting, trimming, stripping of plastic, paper, wood, cloth, and film. So after looking at those materials and flipping through the book, the one thing that really stands out to me is, and this is going to be me repeating this over and over again, is that the tools from this kit can be used in future activities. The brushes can be used, the knife can be used, the rubber stamp, the pastels. You can use them for other art projects. And I think that's a really cool idea. So that's a great thing to keep in mind. And also just the suggestions of how you can use it for other things is a great aspect. So I really appreciate that they do that. Now, I think we'll go on to who is it for. At first, whenever they first contacted me and I checked out their website, I thought immediately of my grandmother, who is now deceased. And as a little kid, me and my grandmother would get together and do all these arts and crafts. We would put together the pom poms, balls to make little Christmas ornaments, and just really have a lot of fun. And with my mom's still alive. My mom watches these all the time and comments. So this is the point for my mom to comment down below. So comment something cool of some sort of craft we did, Mom. One craft that I remember was I think we did like kind of a decoupage type picture frame that we actually gave to my grandma. So anyway, as a kid, doing crafts with my loved ones, the adults in my life, was very important to me, and obviously a big part of my life. So I immediately thought that these kits would be great for families, for somebody with kids or somebody that's taking care of kids, where for $50 a month, you have the excitement of getting the package, opening it up, learning about an art medium, and then going through the process with it. So that was my initial look at it. Then seeing this kit, opening it up, especially with the prompts and ideas, I started thinking about Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy board games and little villages and scenes, where within those type of things, a lot of people do the 3D modeling and will create the different surfaces for the environment for the game. So I started thinking of grown adults who might be interested in the fantasy, the Dungeons and Dragons, and now having an opportunity to be like, oh, well, I can actually start exploring Polymer Clay now. And then after this kit, seeing what you like, then moving further with it if it's something that you want to develop. And with the tins, I mentioned how I am a big tea drinker, and I have a lot of different loose leaf teas. And being able to kind of, I guess the word, I don't know, be gussy up to make it pretty, make it interesting. The tins is a great idea. In fact, a few weeks ago, I was trying the collage and the decoupage. Here's here's a little mug that I was practicing on. So I think that this has a lot of different people that it could target towards. And then ultimately, if it's like, nope, can't think of anything to use it for, I'm not interested in this month, you have the pastels, you have the tins, you have the stamp, you have stuff that can carry over into other art supplies, and you could just use those. So with this, is it worth it? I'm going to say right off the bat, yes, definitely worth it. Especially with the initial impression of a crafting hobby for adults and kids, for that that creation, that learning, and having fun. I think that alone would be great. To go deeper with that, there's the 4 tins. So let's say it costs $50. That'd be 12.25, $12.25. Just doing it off the top of my head. It's been a long work day. Per activity, and you have the activity that you can do 4 times, or you have your adult and child doing it. So you have 2 people right there, or you have an adult and 3 kids, or you can make it a family affair of parents, guardians, and the children. So it's not like just one craft, one product is coming out of this. You can have multiple people working at once and enjoying it as a group activity. Or I could try this first one and be like, okay, well, now that I did the first one, now I can actually be a little bit more focused on the second and see what I want to do. Now I can really go intense, maybe give one away. And then from there, we have one left and whatever we want to do with that. So price-wise and kind of breaking it down in that fashion, I think it's totally worth it. I can't really think of a downside to it. I'm gonna try to think of one. So I paused the camera, stood up, tried to think of a downside, and I did come up with one, but it's kind of like one of those interview type of downsides, like, oh, what's your strength and weaknesses? My strength is that I care too much. I mean, my weakness is that I care too much. It's kind of one of those type of things where if you sign up, let's say, I'm not sure when they ship out, but let's say you got it January 1st and you have your 31 days to complete the activity. I think a month would be more than enough time to complete these. The negative would be is that if I was like, oh my God, I really love Polymer Clay, I might want to veer away from whatever comes in that next month. So it's a fantastic introduction to a craft and a hobby. But I don't think that would be a negative. And then if you get something in the next month, and I'm sure that you could always just be like, you know, you pause the subscription or stop the subscription. If you are like, this is the medium I want to work in, this is where I want to go with it. But I think that's the entire point of it. And it has the word Muse in it, is to inspire. And just simply doing the unboxing, talking about this, it is quite inspirational. And I think that they put a lot of thought and care into the packaging and what they're creating. So Muse Kits, thank you so much for sending me this. I honestly hope that I did their package justice, because like I said, I'm super excited about it. We'll have to make another video where I create something from it. Maybe film a video going through the steps, creating the tin, and playing around with it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So please like, subscribe, follow. From there, I'm going to go further and do more with this. I'm going to use this kit. So I'm very excited about that. So thank you, Muse Kits, for adding yet another type of hobby to my collection already. So thank you all so much for that. I hope you enjoyed. I'll talk to you all soon, and whenever it comes time for the second video, it'll come up. Check them out and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.